Okay, and welcome to this next video. In this video we're going to cover and delve a little bit deeper into researching out the product or niche that we're trying to promote through our e-commerce website, through our dropshipping website. So, as I mentioned before, there are three specific lenses that we're going to pass each of our product ideas through. So let's kind of go back what we've done already. We've already gone through the brainstorming process. We've already actually let's just bring it up here on the screen. So we've already gone through the brainstorming process. We've brainstormed out ideas, things we're interested in. We've done a little bit of product research there. We've then kind of sifted through some of the ones that we thought were good ideas versus bad ideas. We kind of got rid of the ones we did not want to use. And then what we've done is we're left with maybe 5 ideas or product ideas left. These are the ones we're going to pass through these 3 lenses that we've talked about. So you'll see that we've got a list of these different products that we have as potential products for us to promote. And again, as I mentioned, those are the ones that we're going to actually go through and push through these 3 lenses. So the first lens then we said was demand. We need to know if there's a demand for the product. As I've mentioned before, my philosophy has always been it's much easier to sell a product that people are already buying than to try and go introduce something brand new into the market. So our goal is to find out, hey, is there somebody who is interested in this product? And if so, what's that demand look like? So we've got to ask ourselves a couple questions before we really get started. So in that scenario, let's say tents was the one we're going to use in this scenario. Obviously there was 4 or 5 ideas, but tents or camping equipment was one of those things that we wanted to sell. So we've got to ask ourselves a couple questions. The first question we're going to ask ourselves is, what words will our customers be typing into the search engines to find what I have to sell? So really, when we talk about demand, we're talking about, first of all, who our customers are. We talked about in the last video determining our target market, their interests, their likes and hobbies and things like that. So we should already have some insight into who our customers are. Now we want to delve a little bit deeper and find out, okay, we know who they are, but how are they acting? What are they doing online? And one of the biggest ways that customers find products on the internet is they go to search engines like Google and type in specific words or phrases that will, bring up that product or the website that carries the product that they're looking for. So we call these keywords or keyword phrases. Okay? So we have to kind of sit down and brainstorm what are some of the keywords or keyword phrases that a customer might type into Google and other search engines to find our product. Another way to do this and get a little bit more narrow is, hey, are there any specific brands that my customers would be searching for? So for example, if we're using tents or camping gear in this example, we might say Kelty tents, we might say Coleman tents, and we can continue on with other different brands of tents, because what happens sometimes is we start to brainstorm out these keywords or keyword phrases that customers potentially could type into the search engines. Sometimes we get so broad that we use that to determine demand, which is great, okay? But there are other words or phrases that our customers could be typing in, and we really don't want to miss that, because that doesn't give us a true picture of the demand for the product, and sometimes we can make inaccurate decisions based on inaccurate data. Okay, so we want to make sure we have all that, and then if so, what are those brands, and list out those brands. So this is exactly what the process looks like, and then I'll go actually show you how to do it. So here's the process. Step 1 is we're going to brainstorm out at least 30 keywords or keyword phrases. So in the example of tents or outdoor gear or whatever we have chosen as our potential niche to research, we're going to sit down and we're going to say, and I like to do it in a spreadsheet, but I like to say, all right, what are some of these words or phrases that a customer might actually type in to try to find my product online? So that's step 1. Step 2 then is to take each one of these keywords or phrases and plug them into the Google keyword tool. This is going to tell us how many people are actually searching for each of these words. And again, like I said, I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. Step 3 then would be to take the total search volume from each one of the keyword phrases, okay, and then total that up. So if keyword 1 has 1,000 searches per month and keyword 2 has 1,000 searches per month, obviously the total there is 2,000. So that's kind of the process we're going to go through. And then finally, we're going to determine at that point whether or not it meets your demand needs. Now, I want to talk about this for just a second before I actually get into showing you how to do this. This is an arbitrary number. Okay, I could go through the process of saying I never market anything that has total search volume under X searches a month. But the problem with that is that when I do that, and I found this, look, I've taught literally over 8,000 students at this point how to create success online and how to make money with websites. And I have seen this time and time again, that when I tell the student, hey, if it has 2,000 searches or lower, don't do it. Well, here's the problem. At that point, they become dependent upon that number and dependent upon what I just said, when really there might be a case or an instance where there might be a niche, very tight niche product that has 1,800 searches per month total, and it could be a very good niche. Maybe there's very low competition or no competition. That would be a niche you want to go into then. And so I hesitate to give you a number, but like I said, I'll show you some examples. We'll go through it. But you really have to, at this point, you should have already figured out what your goals are. So for example, if your goal is to make $100,000 per year, okay, let's just say that's your goal, right? You want to make $100,000 per year, and then you have to kind of go back and do the math, and I like to work backwards towards this. So I take 100,000, okay, and I'll divide it by 365, which is the days of a year. That gives me $274 per day. So I have to make $274 per day to reach my goal, for example. Okay. Now here's the idea. I need to find a product that can help me generate $274 per day. So as I'm going through this, if the search demand really isn't there for me to meet that goal, then I might have to consider that while this may be a good niche for somebody, it may not be the right niche for me. Whereas if your goal is to make an extra $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year, your goals are going to be a lot different in that scenario than if you were trying to make $100,000. So first step is you've got to really figure out what your personal goals are. From there, you can use this last step to say, all right, there's enough search volume for me to actually make a living off this or meet whatever my financial goals are. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, I'll show you some specific examples so you can actually see me doing this. But I don't want you to get so hung up on Joe said 1,000, so I can only do. No, that's not the point here. You need to be able to think for yourselves. You're running your own business. I'm going to give you the kind of the general rules of thumb, but you really need to be able to get into this and look at it and be able to determine it for yourself. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go into and actually do this process. So let's go ahead and do that.